In the year 2025, the landscape of American ballistics and rifle manufacturing has shifted beneath our feet. We are seeing a polarization in the market. On one side, we have incredible advancements in bolt-action engineering. Rifles that offer sub-minute of angle precision right out of the box for a fraction of what custom builds used to cost. On the other side, we have a resurgence of calibers that, quite frankly, are leading new shooters into failure. Whether it is because of outdated ballistic coefficients, punishing recoil, or simply being the wrong tool for the job, making the wrong choice today can ruin your season tomorrow. Today, we are going to cut through the marketing noise. We are curating a list that alternates between the hardware you should be buying and the ballistic traps you must avoid. We have selected the absolute peak of beginner-friendly precision rifles, systems that grow with you, and we are juxtaposing them against the cartridges that promise the world but deliver heartache in the field. From finish engineering perfection to the hard truth about using varmint rounds on deer, this is your definitive guide to making the right call at the gun counter. Let us get to work. We begin with a rifle that represents the pinnacle of modern production efficiency and finish engineering. The Tikka T3X Lite Stainless. This rifle is defined by its modular synthetic stock, a feature that allows the shooter to fundamentally alter the geometry of the weapon without needing a gunsmith. You can adjust the length of pull and swap out the pistol grip panels to change the angle of your wrist. This low-angled grip geometry is crucial because it promotes a natural wrist position, reducing fatigue during long glassing sessions and improving recoil management by aligning the bones of the forearm directly behind the action. The heart of this system is the stainless steel barrel and receiver. We are talking about materials built to weather the most brutal conditions imaginable without losing a fraction of accuracy. Tikka guarantees sub-minute of angle performance straight from the factory. This eliminates the archaic and expensive ritual of breaking in a barrel. You do not need to fire hundreds of rounds to season the bore. It is ready to drive tacks from the very first magazine. The single-stage trigger is another standout, breaking consistently at a reasonable weight. It teaches the new marksman the critical skill of a proper trigger press without the creep or grit found in lesser designs. At 6.4 pounds, the T3X Lite strikes a balance that is difficult to achieve. It is light enough for all-day carry in steep terrain, yet it retains enough mass to not feel insubstantial when you shoulder it for a shot. The 22.4-inch barrel maximizes velocity, specifically for cartridges like the .308 Winchester, while keeping the overall length manageable at 42.6 inches. With a 1 in 10 twist rate, it stabilizes a vast range of bullet weights, from light varmint loads to heavy hunting projectiles. It is a system that justifies every penny of its price tag, offering reliability that rivals custom rifles costing twice as much. Now, we must address a controversial topic, but one that is essential for ethical hunting. The 223 Remington. For tactical applications, home defense, and varmint control, this cartridge is undeniably king. It is affordable, ubiquitous, and low recoil. However, when we transition to hunting deer-sized game, the 223 Remington is a trap for the uninitiated. We are dealing with a light projectile, typically weighing between 55 and 77 grains. At the muzzle, it generates around 1,200 foot-pounds of energy. In the world of whitetail hunting, this is considered the absolute bare minimum for an ethical kill. The margin for error with the 223 is razor thin. If your shot placement is not surgically precise, that small diameter bullet often fails to penetrate through heavy bone or dense muscle to reach the vital organs. This lack of mass and sectional density leads to wounded animals and heartbreaking tracking jobs that end with no recovery. This is not just an opinion, it is a reality reflected in the laws of many states that strictly prohibit the use of .22 caliber centerfire cartridges for big game hunting. Furthermore, The wind is a significant enemy here. Even with a high velocity of 3,200 feet per second, those light bullets are easily pushed off course by crosswinds. In real field conditions, this makes shots past 200 yards incredibly risky. While the lack of recoil makes it tempting to hand a .223 to a new hunter, teaching them with a marginal caliber is a recipe for a bad experience. Stick to the .223 for coyotes and paper targets, and choose a cartridge with sufficient mass to ensure a clean, ethical harvest. Returning to the realm of high-quality rifles, we look at an American classic. The Winchester Model 70 Featherweight Stainless. This rifle is steeped in history, utilizing the legendary pre-64 style controlled round feeding action. This mechanism captures the cartridge rim from the moment it leaves the magazine, ensuring positive chambering and extraction under any conditions. It teaches proper bolt manipulation through mechanical certainty, rather than the finesse required by cheaper push-feed designs. If you are upside down or cycling the bolt while running, the Model 70 will feed. The featherweight is instantly identifiable by its Grade 1 walnut stock, featuring a satin finish and the iconic Schnabel forend. It brings traditional elegance to the field, but do not let the wood fool you. This is a serious tool. The barrel is free-floating to eliminate accuracy-killing contact with the stock, and it features a target crown to protect the rifling at the muzzle. The stainless steel barrel and receiver are finished in a matte texture to resist corrosion and reduce glare, ensuring that this heirloom-quality rifle can withstand harsh weather just as well as its synthetic counterparts. Priced around $1,250, it features the MOA trigger system. This trigger is designed to have zero take-up, zero creep, and zero over-travel. It breaks like glass. The angled comb geometry of the stock positions the shooter's eye naturally behind the optic, and the Patchmeyer decelerator recoil pad does serious work in soaking up the punishment from full-power .308 Winchester loads. Weighing in at 6 pounds and 12 ounces, it is light enough to carry all day, but built with a level of craftsmanship that is becoming rare in modern manufacturing. On the opposite end of the power spectrum, we find a cartridge that defines too much of a good thing. The 300 Remington Ultra Magnum, or RUM. This cartridge promises laser flat trajectories and devastating energy, boasting velocities over 3,200 feet per second and energy levels nearing 4,000 foot-pounds. On paper, it sounds like the ultimate long-range solution. In reality, for the vast majority of hunters, it is a liability. The recoil generated by the 300 RUM in a standard hunting rifle is vicious. It is often compared to the .338 Lapua Magnum. This level of punishment induces a severe flinch reflex in most shooters, completely negating the accuracy potential that attracted them to the round in the first place. You cannot hit what you are afraid of, and this cartridge makes you afraid of the trigger pull. Beyond the physical toll, the economic and mechanical costs are astronomical. The 300 RUM is a known barrel burner. The immense volume of powder burning at such high temperatures erodes the throat of the barrel significantly faster than standard magnums, destroying the rifling and accuracy of your expensive rifle much sooner than you would expect. Ammo costs range from $3 to $7 per shot. That is the cost of a car payment just to zero your scope. Unless you're taking specialized 1,000-yard shots on elk, this cartridge is absolute overkill. For North American game, and simply an expensive way to bruise your shoulder. If you are looking for a rifle that bridges the gap between old-world craftsmanship and modern manufacturing precision, the Bergara B14 Woodsman is the answer. Bergara built their reputation on the quality of their barrels, and the Woodsman continues that tradition with a hammer-forged barrel that maintains accuracy through extreme round counts. At a price point of $700, This rifle delivers a smoothness of operation that suggests tighter tolerances than almost any other rifle in its category. The B14 action is incredibly smooth, reducing the clunky binding feel that often frustrates beginners trying to cycle rounds quietly in the woods. The stock design emphasizes field practicality, with shaping that shoulders naturally and points instinctively. At 6.6 pounds, the rifle carries comfortably during all-day hunts without feeling flimsy. The 22-inch barrel strikes the ideal balance between velocity development and handling, ensuring that rounds like the .308 Winchester achieve their full ballistic potential, without the rifle becoming unwieldy in brush or vehicle interiors. This rifle is a perfect example of value. It combines the aesthetic of a classic wood-stocked hunting rifle with the performance of a modern precision instrument. The internal bedding system ensures a solid connection between the action and the stock, providing a consistent platform for the barrel to do its work. For the hunter who appreciates the feel of wood but demands the performance of a modern chassis system, the Bergara B14 Woodsman is a standout choice. Let us talk about a lever-action classic that breaks hearts, the .444 Marlin. Lever gun purists love the classic feel of this cartridge, but from a practical hunting standpoint in the modern era, it is riddled with flaws. Designed as a brushbuster, it hurls massive 240 to 300 grain projectiles with about 3,000 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. However, the moment that bullet leaves the barrel, it begins to drop like a stone. The trajectory of the .444 Marlin is a rainbow. Beyond 150 yards, the drop is so steep that if your range estimation is off by just a few yards, you are going to miss cleanly, or worse, wound the animal. This severely limits your effective range in a world where modern cartridges shoot flat out to 400 yards or more. Additionally, the recoil is sharp and stout, often catching shooters off guard who are used to milder loads like the .30-30 Winchester. Logistically, the .444 Marlin is a nightmare. Major ammunition manufacturers rarely prioritize it, forcing you to rely on expensive boutique ammo makers just to feed the gun. The rifles themselves are heavy, usually pushing over 8 pounds. When you compare this to the .45-70 Government, which has vastly better ammo availability and modern loads that can handle anything from deer to grizzly bear, the .444 simply does not make sense anymore. It is loud, it limits your range, and it is a pain to source ammo for. For the budget-conscious shooter who refuses to compromise on performance, the Ruger American rifle has redefined expectations. Ruger focused on what actually matters: the barrel, the trigger, and the bedding system, rather than unnecessary frills. The result is a rifle priced around $550 that utilizes the power bedding system. This integral bedding block positions the receiver precisely while free-floating the barrel, eliminating the contact points that create accuracy problems in cheaper rifles. The Ruger Marksman adjustable trigger breaks cleanly anywhere between 3 and 5 pounds, giving beginners the room to find their sweet spot as their technique improves. The one-piece, 3-lug bolt features a 70-degree throw, which provides ample clearance for large optics and ensures smooth operation that will not pinch fingers or catch on gear. The cold hammer-forged barrel produces rifling that stays accurate through thousands of rounds while resisting throat erosion. Weighing in at 6.1 pounds with a 22-inch barrel, this rifle delivers everything needed for successful hunting. The soft rubber butt pad absorbs recoil noticeably better than the hard plastic alternatives found on competitors, reducing flinch development. The ergonomic synthetic stock balances modern grip serrations with a classic contour, helping to maintain consistent hand placement. It is a workhorse that proves you do not need to spend thousands of dollars to fill your freezer. Now, we come to a cartridge that is legendary in the safari world but utterly ridiculous for your average deer camp. The .458 Winchester Magnum. If you are staring down a charging Cape buffalo in the thick brush of Zimbabwe, this is the medicine you need. But for hunting elk in the high country of Colorado, this thing is essentially a shoulder-fired artillery cannon. The .458 Winchester Magnum pushes muzzle energies north of 5,000 foot-pounds. For most shooters, that level of recoil is not just uncomfortable, it is unmanageable. It induces a massive flinch reflex that destroys accuracy when you have to take a critical shot. The rifles chambered for this beast typically weigh in at a hefty 9 to 11 pounds, just to help soak up that brutal kick. Lugging an 11-pound rifle up a mountain ridge is a quick way to turn a fun hunt into a miserable rucksack march. Economically, you're looking at premium factory loads costing between $5 and $10 every single time you pull the trigger. That makes genuine practice financially painful, meaning most folks simply will not train enough to handle the recoil. Ballistically, it is like throwing a brick. It has a true rainbow trajectory that limits your effective range to about 200 yards. Unless you're booking a ticket to hunt genuine dangerous game in Africa, leave the .458 at home. It is monumental overkill for anything walking on North American soil. Finally, we look at a rifle that pushes the boundaries of the classic platform. The Remington 700 Alpha 1. Remington took decades of experience with the Model 700 and engineered a receiver that addresses the needs of the modern precision shooter. The Alpha 1 features a round receiver design, which provides a superior bedding surface area compared to flat-bottom designs. This ensures consistent barrel harmonics shot after shot, a critical factor for precision. Priced at $960, this rifle sits at the premium end, but justifies it with meticulous engineering. The precision ground recoil lug eliminates the tolerance stacking that causes accuracy drift in lesser rifles. The enlarged ejection port ensures that spent casings are cleared reliably, even during rapid follow-up shots. It also features tool-less firing pin disassembly, making field maintenance simple without requiring specialized equipment. The Elite Hunter Timney straight trigger breaks at a crisp 3 pounds with zero creep, teaching proper trigger control better than mushier designs. The barrel features an 11-degree target crown to protect the rifling at the critical exit point. The stock is a composite carbon fiber construction, delivering rigidity that controls barrel whip without adding dead weight. It is wrapped in a gray speckled finish that hides wear and tear. With a Cerakote finish on the fluted barrel and receiver, this rifle offers corrosion resistance that far outlasts traditional bluing. It is a modern evolution of a classic, built for the shooter who demands the best. Ultimately, the divide between success and failure in the field often comes down to the decisions you make at the gun counter long before the season starts. We have looked at rifles like the Tikka T3X and the Bergara B14, machines that democratize precision and put professional-grade accuracy into the hands of the average hunter. These are the tools that build confidence. Conversely, we have exposed the Ballistic Traps, the .458 Magnums that punish you for pulling the trigger, and the 223s that gamble with ethical kills. Do not be the hunter who buys a rifle because it looks cool in a movie, or a caliber, because it was designed for a continent you will never visit. Buy the tool that fits your game, fits your shoulders, and respects your wallet. Train with it until the mechanics are boring. That is how you fill the freezer in 2025. Stay safe, shoot straight, and we will see you on the range.